Alright, welcome everybody to the Insider versus Lappas and Mr. T. It's the first episode of 2010. So to my right is Mr. Lappas and to my left is Mr. T. So glad to be back. And well, it's a new year, but there seems to be another controversy in the FHL. This one seems to have caused probably the biggest reactions from all of them so far in the history of the FHL. It was concerning a couple of trades that happened in the FHL. The one that started the most reaction was between Liverpool and the Canadians, where the Canadians gave Daniel Alfredson and Jason Spezza. Both players were injured at that time. In return,
the Canadians got Spezza and Alfredson.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Canadians got Alfredson and Spezza, and Liverpool got JP Dumas and Sheldon Surrey. So that trade caused some comments. And then there was actually another trade between the Predators and the Leafs, where the Leafs got Jason Arnott, Jerome McGinley, Corey Stillman, and Shea Weber. In return for the Predators got Matthew Lombardi, Thomas Vanek, Stephen Weiss, and Ryan Whitney. So after that trade happened as well, we had a bunch of reaction. It all started with Expo general manager Louis, and then it went down pretty much almost every single general manager had a comment.
About that, I'm just going to interrupt you about that. I don't think, I see a lot of fingers being pointed to, just specifically you mentioned the Leafs, Marc-Andre Turgeon, a lot of fingers have been pointing at him for the trade he did with his brother, the Predators. I don't think it's his fault. He tried, the trade passed. Our system right now is that the commissioner decides, so if anything, I don't think it's Marc-André's fault. Specifically, I'm saying that because a lot of fingers have been pointing at him for that trade.
What about you, Mr. Lappas? You've been quiet this week. No, your comments, nobody knows them. So what's your opinion on this?
From what I've been reading, it seems like everybody's mostly pissed off about the Liverpool-Canadians trade, and there was some sort of modification made. Well, I'm quite confident that both Liverpool and Canadians negotiated in good faith, and just because the circumstances were that the injured players came back sooner, gave the advantage to the Canadians. But at the time that the trade was made, it was made in good faith. So I don't know what the problem is.
Well, the thing is, as soon as you saw that there was a consideration to change the trade, isn't that like robbing a bank and giving some back after? Like, I don't know.
Well, if I was a commissioner, I would have said no. The trade went through at the time that the trade was made. It was made in good faith.
At that point, just live with it.
Yeah, just live with it. I mean, Mike agreed to it. He has to live with the consequences. That's it. That's what happens when you trade. I don't think Mike did it to help the Canadians.
No, I agree with that. I agree that that the trade happened. It should have happened. Now whether we should, this is something we could discuss. I guess.
I think the FHL started to become a league of crybabies. And
no, I'm saying what I'm saying is that if this is the system, then the trade should have passed. But if we were to implement a new system and trading policies, like a lot of gems have mentioned the last few days, that's a whole new discussion.
And there was also Liverpool was also involved in another trade that some people were questioning, and it was actually with Mr. T and the Rangers, where Mr. T gave up Matt Molson, and in return he got Sergei Gonchar.
Again, it takes two to tango. Nobody put a gun to Mike's head and said, "Give me Sergei Gonchar," and nobody put a gun to Nick's head and said, "Give me Matt Molson."
But there was a picture on the FHL website earlier this week, and we saw what Mike was doing.
Right.
So I guess he was sleeping.
Well, it's not the FHL's fault. It's not our fault that he's a bad manager. And as a result, he fired his whole medical staff because of the gross error that they made on the Alfredson and Spezza situation. What does that tell you about the way this team is managed?
Well, we know the results, right?
Well,
it's year after year, and
what's very interesting is that Liverpool never drafts his team, so he's not really there to take care of his team. It's Peter, it's the commissioner that handles it. So
in that case, we should remove Mike as general manager and bring in someone else who's actually going to care about his team.
So Peter drafted his team. How do we know Peter didn't just create the trade?
So the modification that Lappas was talking about earlier, Ryan Malone was also added. The Canadians gave Ryan Malone back. To Liverpool.
What's the point?
And then after Spezza, who was supposed to come back after the Olympics, which would have been during the FHL playoffs, he's coming back earlier. So then to prevent people from complaining more, he just traded Spets and Malone back. So at the end of the day, the trade was JP Numa and Sheldon Surrey for Daniel Alfredson, a 2-in-1 trade.
Whatever.
So my question to you guys, next season, what do you guys think should be done? Should be any change in the trading policy?
No, any system you implement is always going to be whiners and complainers. So let's just leave the system as is, and people should just stop their whining and complaining, or just quit the FHL altogether, and we'll bring in other serious participants.
What do you think, Mr. T?
I think it's a discussion. Everybody has their opinion. It's something that has to be discussed with the majority, and see we go from there.
What do you guys think of the idea of Detroit general manager Jimmy, who said that we shouldn't have any trades? It should all be done either through draft and then the free agency.
I think there's nothing wrong with trade as long as it happens in a good way, in an honest, good way.
Well, other leagues don't even allow any trade, so I mean, that's another possibility we can look at.
And no matter if there's trades, like Lappas said earlier, I think no matter what we do the system, there's no perfect system. I think no matter it be no trades or with trades or how the trades are decided, I don't think there's a perfect system. So I guess we just have to choose one and deal with it, right?
That's right.
And also speaking of Detroit general manager Jimmy Akumakis, earlier this year he had a baby boy.
Well, congratulations, Jimmy. All the best.
Yeah, so congratulations to Jimmy and his wife.
Finally, some good news instead of all this brouhaha. You know, finally some good news. A new baby boy brought into this world, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
very good.
So if anybody has an opinion, well, actually we've actually seen everybody's opinion about the trade. It was even actually a poll question, but I haven't checked what the results were. We're asking the people if whether or not they think trades should be allowed the next season. So we encourage people to go on the FHL website and vote.
Right.
So I guess we'll take a break. We'll be back with more right after this. Alright, it's time now for the Insider versus Lappas mailbag. Lappas, you have this week's question.
Yeah, but I don't feel like reading it. I actually have a question.
Okay,
what's
what
with
is
the
it?
Rangers jersey?
Well, I'm surprised it took so long for you to ask. So we spoke about in the real world that me and Mr. T we got tickets for the Canadiens game on last Wednesday against St. Louis Blues at the Bell Center. And before the game, we put up a deal that if the Canadiens would win, Mr. T would wear a Canadiens jersey during today's program, and the other way around, if St. Louis would win, I would wear a Rangers shirt in the program. We came close. Canadiens almost won, but they ended up losing to St. Louis Blues. So this is my part of the deal that I have to wear the shirt during this week's.
Anyways, you look
game.
stupid. So.
I agree with you, but I guess I'm a man of my word, so I have to.
Oh yeah, but next time I'll teach you to make a bet.
Yeah, I guess so. And next week's program, actually, we might be going on the road.
It's true. Yes.
To Ottawa.
Yeah, we'll be in Ottawa.
So Mr. T will be there, Lappas will be there, I'll be there.
Amy will be there as well.
And Amy will be there
Maybe
as well.
she'll make a guest appearance. I don't know.
Probably, or else maybe the camera work.
Maybe.
Alright, so thanks for everybody for watching. Thanks Mr. T, thanks to Lappas. I'm the Insider. We'll see you next week from Ottawa on the Insider vs. Lappas and Mr. T.